So why do I call this America the Thirsty? Because I've been seeing stuff lately that's been reminiscent of thirst. Like, for example, and it's an obsession with celebrity. Kanye West, Neil deGrasse Tyson, all these people. People are obsessed with celebrity. They want to be validated by celebrity. Like here are the scientists. You have Brian Cox, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Bill Nye. They're all these globalist shills for the beast, and they're all blatantly actors. And people just want to believe. They want to be validated by the beast. And it's getting, like this Kanye. Yeah, he has an episode. He has an album called Jesus is King, right? And at first, I was really excited, and I was like, "Oh, Kanye confirmed bear, crushing, branching out." He's not. And call me a hater all you want. It's all a scam. He's starting this like Freemason church with all the Freemason symbolism, and he's charging $25 for Jesus socks and like $200 for like a crew neck shirt with a cross on it. Look at the label. It's Def Jam Records and Good Records. It's Pusha T, John Legend. Then you got Def Jam, which is owned by Geffen. And he's married to a porn star and he's a rapper. It's like, oh, wouldn't Jesus choose people? No, what it is people want to be validated by celebrity. You want Kanye West to tell you that Christianity's cool and he's going to open people's eyes. No, it's a cash grab. It's the same as Joel Osteen getting promoted by Oprah. And it's like, I'm not going to be a dick about it anymore. This is the first time I've even addressed it. It's just people are constantly telling me, what do you think about Kanye? Kanye's based, huh? Kanye's based. No. Kanye is the beast. He's a billionaire. Bill. Well, Big Bear, you're doing quite well. No, I rejected it. I'll never be verified or validated, or I won't have a blue check mark on Twitter. I'm not even allowed on Twitter. I'm not allowed in record labels. I'm not allowed on Comedy Central or MTV anymore. There's a price to be paid when you speak the truth. So when you're being promoted this much and you're using crucifixes as, merch, like, stop being so fucking thirsty, man. It's like, well, just be happy for him. You, sir. This one guy, they don't even understand the irony. Their ironies and the contradictions they're saying. They're like, why don't you work on being a better Christian and stop pointing the finger? He said with finger pointed. And then I'll address the Nick Fuentes situation. I was like calling out his nonsense. And someone's like, oh, you're bad for the movement, bro. You're trying to derail nationalism. If your nationalist leader is a 21-year-old male who lives with his mommy and daddy, who doesn't have a wife, a girlfriend, or children, he refers to his mom's breasts as milkers, and he's angry about something called Jew blood. You're thirsty. Thirsty. What part of that is nationalistic? Oh, and by the way, he's giving good-hearted anti-Semites like me a bad name. It's like, a lot of you guys don't see the real Nick Fuentes, the real behind-the-scenes guy that will tell producers that I'm friends with, oh, did you know Owen has Jew blood in him? Jew blood? I'm 6'8". Nick Fuentes, if you want to talk genetics, he's genetically inferior to a lamppost. He's got a big retard forehead. He's 5'4", and he looks like the type of guy that always shits his pants. He's weak, he's small, and it's like he's obsessed with Jew blood. I call out Jewish culture and crimes, Talmudic reasoning, rejection of logos, war, all that stuff, but there's no Jew blood. It's like, what? That's the type of anti-Semitism that Jews want to expand, because then they can justify their retaliation. It's insane. And it's not even true. Ashkenazi, Semitic. Like, what are you talking about, Jew blood? Like, the Rothschilds aren't even Semites. Like, most of them are, like, a lot of them are Khazarians, which is Eastern European mixed with Turkish and Italian. And then the Semites, I mean, a lot of Arabs and Sephardic Jews are very similar genetically. Genetics itself, 23andMe was created by Sergey Brin, the CEO of Google's wife. So 23andMe, when you spit in your little thing and send it off to find out if you're part Jew, it's the Jews are the ones telling you. And it's like, so you have Kanye West, who's profiting off crucifixes, starting Freemason churches. A record label puts out something called Jesus King by Geffen, who's probably a vampire. And then you have Nick Fuentes, the leader of the male nationalist movement, who's a white nationalist with a lesbian sister living with his mommy, who he refers to her breasts as milkers. Ashkenazi bloodline is real. You missed my entire point. Jew blood? So you think there's something wrong with me because I have one of my grandmothers was half Jewish of that sort? Do you think that's what Nick Fuentes thinks? Nick Fuentes thinks there's something genetically wrong with people of any Jewish descent. Want to know what that does? It alleviates you of personal accountability. That it's not your soul, it's not your actions, it's not your faith, it's not your deeds, it's not your family, it's your blood. It's bullshit. Yeah, it's like saying gay blood, exactly. His family's a fucking house of nightmares. He's got his sister's a lesbian, allegedly married to a black girl, and then you got white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who thinks there's something called Jew blood, and he refers to his mother's breasts as milkers. Yet I'm the bad guy for calling him out. And then people say, he's just a boy, just like David Hogg style, right? You can't make fun of him because he's 21. And then you have Kanye West, who's now the light of Christianity. You know, a rapper under David Geffen who's married to Kim Kardashian, who's making billions on socks that say Jesus on them. Stop being so thirsty. And when people try and criticize me, oh, that's exactly the type of person Jesus would choose and God would choose to bring his message. No. I'm the one saying that, not you guys. You should be just as happy when a homeless person finds Jesus than when Kanye West does. Why does everyone need validation from the beast? A boy's been a man for 6 years. Yeah, and no girlfriend, no interest in marriage, no interest in children. He wants that coin. And by the way, for those of you that don't understand criminality, Nick Fuentes has his blue check mark on Twitter. Not only has he never been banned from Twitter, he's verified. Who gives out those blue check marks? Jack Dorsey. Nick Fuentes is monetized on YouTube. In the criminal world, that tells you one thing. Nick is a snitch. He's serving the beast. And I'll tell you what it is. People like me can call out Jewish crimes. People like me can call out dual citizenship with Israel and Congress. People like me can call out the Sackler family who pushed the opioid crisis. People like me can call out the victim mentality of what's next, genocide? But when you start getting into Jew blood and talking about how if you're part Jew, that means you're bad, they want you like that because they can put you in a little pen and you deserve to be put in a pen. I see all human beings as made by God. It's the same shit that dumb homo Richard Spencer used to preach about how you got to abort black babies because of demographics. No, you abort no babies because a baby is a human life. It's a human soul made by God. There is no killing of children. I don't care if they're white or black or anything because that's evil. You can't condemn a man for being genetically part Jewish. That doesn't even make any sense. And want to know what else it does? It feeds in to the special boy narrative that Jews have special DNA. He's serving them. Why would he have a blue check mark on Twitter if he didn't serve them? And sneaky behind the scenes, calling my dad a Jew and getting all his little Nazi incels to all start attacking me and saying all this shit about my wife, and then in public being like, oh, Owen's attacking me and my mom and her milkers and my lesbian sister. It's so insane. And I'm seeing him grow with the youth, and people are like, what, are you jealous? No, I'm trying to warn young men. I don't need shit from young men. Older men need to do a better job at alerting snakes. And when people say, oh, you turn on people, it's like, who the fuck was I wrong about? Ben Shapiro? Jordan Peterson? Joe Rogan? Tell me who I was wrong about, who sets people astray. Owen is a genius, thank you. And Kanye West will not bring you to Christianity. You like him because he's a celebrity validating your beliefs. He's openly mocking it with Geffen. Geffen is a vampire. David Geffen is pure unadulterated grabbler. He produced Jesus is King. And now they're selling socks for $25 with a crucifix on it. Fuentes is not crushing. He's not. He's a gamma male narcissist and he's leading men astray. Never ever get into this genetic condemnation bullshit. You will deserve the pen you're put in. I got to make t-shirts that say Hitler should have homesteaded. And never ever be defined by your enemies. Create, grow, have a family. If your nationalistic leader that's supposed to save the traditional West is a 21-year-old living with his mom and dad who calls his mom's breast milkers and talks about Jew blood, you're on a bad path, man, and you're thirsty. You know, that's what a lot of women I know used to call men thirsty. I used to know a lot of women in Los Angeles, and they would always be like, man, that guy is thirsty because he wants it too bad. He wants it so bad. Don't be thirsty, America. Don't be thirsty to have Kanye West validate your Christianity. Don't be thirsty that just because Nick Fuentes names the Jew, ooh, big deal. That says that a lot of Jews are responsible for a lot of crimes. Yeah, I have a grabbler mask. But as soon as you get into genetic condemnation, you're off the res. Because you have to allow people a way back. You have to allow people. David Weiss, my friend, the flat earther, who's a full-blown Jew DNA but doesn't act like a grabbler, is more Christian acting than Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is an envious, spiteful little fuck who sexualizes his own mother, and then when I point it out, I'm called the bad guy. With Jesus, you never have thirst. Right, exactly. And it's not envy. It's not jealousy. He's on a bad path, man. And for young people, I've seen people that I was rooting for on my pages and in my life. They're like, you sir. And I'm like, dude, you're off the res, man. You can stop being my friend or stop being a supporter or a bear or anything you want. But as soon as you don't see reality for what it is, like, that's on you, man. And don't say I didn't warn you. I'm not a civ nat. I'm not a magic dirt guy. But there's no such thing as white. That's a term used by the very people that you claim are oppressing you. They named you that so that you wouldn't just say American. If you're going to make America the melting pot of immigration and we're a nation of immigrants and we need more diversity and we have to bring in all these people from Bangladesh that work for a quarter or else we're not diverse enough. They need to make a binary. So what's the binary? The other side is white, not American, not your homeland, not you and your family's roots, not the people who settle it. They have to turn you into bleached, bromated bread and give you pride in it just because you don't have some mystical, magical thing that doesn't exist called Jew blood. Told to you by 23andMe, a company owned by Google, that you give up your genetic information to see if white equals European. No, European equals European. That doesn't make any sense. So are the South Africans not South African? They're European. Think about what you take away from yourself every time you do that. Oh, white. So now the South Africans, now those guys are not South African. They're white guy. That white equals European. That means they should go home or be killed by the blacks in South Africa. What was the worst thing Owen said about Nick's sister? She's a lesbian married to a black girl, which is true. Doesn't matter. Nick has said some of the most insane shit about me. He just doesn't do it publicly because he's a coward. And Milker Nation is all these incel guys that are like so angry at the world. And they're all victims because they're white men. Oh, everyone's against white men. Then stop being a white man. Be American. Be Christian. Be your family name. Be a man. Stop it. So don't label yourself white man and then be a victim. Put yourself in a Dennis Prager little box. Oh, everyone's against white men. Then don't be a white man. Be American posterity. Be Christian. Be your name, your family name. Stand on something firm, not sand given to you by grabblers. It's the same as what they did to blacks. Oh, you nigga. Yo, what's up, my nigga? What's up, my nigga? Oh, white people can't say nigga. We the niggas. You're doing the same shit. You just don't see it. Because you're so thirsty. You're so thirsty for identity. You're so thirsty that the media keeps calling you toxic white male, toxic white male. We're not toxic white male. We're not niggers. We're niggas. My nigga. I mean, it's not an IQ situation. It's a problem with it. It's discernment. They've been failed. They've been entertained to death. Me and my family went out to dinner for the first time in a while. It was very nice. We had pho. And I was just overhearing table next to us, and all they were talking about is what TV shows they were watching. The two countries that have been entertained to death are America and Israel. It's like people they watch so much TV and movies and Spielberg and all this shit that it makes you a victim and a pervert. I'm a Catholic. There you go. That's an identity you can stand on. What the hell does white mean? Bill Gates calls on the U.S. to lead fight against a pandemic that could kill 33 million people. The only person that could kill 33 million people is Bill Gates. And by the way, this is when gematria actually is something. Watch out for when they use 33s, 6s, and when they encode 9/11s. That's like some weird, creepy, occultist ritual thing that he's trying to do. He's trying to create a spell. Bill Gates says the U.S. government is falling short in preparing the nation and the world for the significant probability of a large and lethal modern day. If there's any plagues, it's from these guys. He admitted he's trying to lower the world's population. Do you think he wants to save anyone's life? He's trying to lower the world population. He's a eugenicist. So I'm just trying to help you discern. The Washington Post is owned by Bezos and the CIA, and the grabblers. So don't trust any of this. Like, look at it for what it is. That's someone trying to start a spell. Joel Osteen didn't save himself. Joel Osteen is a Satanist. Kanye West is a Satanist. There, I said it. You do have Jew blood. There's no such thing. What is Jew blood? The whole problem with Jews is how they act. It's like the Talmudic reasoning problem, where it's like finding loopholes around God's law is the problem. There's problems with all groups of people, with all people. Everybody has a different set of problems. Right now, the Talmudic reasoning problem is a horrible problem for the West. Judeo-Christian is nonsense. Trying to find loopholes around God's law is nonsense. Having our Congress have 70 members of it that have dual citizenship with a foreign nation is nonsense. That doesn't mean that there's a racial component. It's not because of blood. That's sick. And when you have all these Milker Nation people being like, you're part Jew, your dad's a Jew. I at first thought it was a joke. They actually need it. They're victims. They're white guy victims. Oh, I'm white. I'm oppressed by the Jew. The Jew oppresses the Jew more than he oppresses anybody. Stay away. Homestead. Don't hurt them. Don't condemn them racially. I want nothing to do with that. So when people say, oh, you're breaking up the movement, that's a bowel movement. That's shit. Whatever Nick Fuentes is, I am not. And if you want to bail and if you want to go be little victims in your little holes, go ahead. I mock Jews the way you should mock Jews. For their behavior. Because it allows them a way out. They can stop the behavior. And it doesn't condemn them fucking racially. Ashkenazis might not even have Jew blood. They have none. It's Eastern European, Italian, and Turkish. Yep, have lunch. Yeah, you guys are great. Like, the vibe in here today is awesome. Look at the fucking man speaking. He's 5'4". He looks and smells like shit and baby powder. He has a giant Greta Thunberg fucking forehead. How is that a genetic plus? If I'm Jew blood at 6'8", blue-eyed, strong jaw, if fertile, making babies, it's like if that's Jew blood, then Jew blood is better than his blood. Fuentes. 1% of Jewish blood is counteracted by the gravy flowing through his veins. That's a fact. When you see the grabber faces that look real weird with the big ears and the big nose, and they're like, oh, that's because of inbreeding from bloodlines. That's not being a Jew. That's being an inbred bloodline weirdo. Like the Rothschilds, how they all look like space aliens. It's because for like 1,000 years, they've been inbreeding to consolidate wealth. That has nothing to do with being Jewish. The Talmudic reasoning makes people feel like a victim. And the entertainment, the mind control of Spielberg movies and Holocaust porn and all this stuff makes them feel like victims. Like everyone's attacking them all the time. It's the same with the homosexuals. They're like, everyone's trying to hurt me, so I'm going to have to poison the well to make everyone weak. That is the thing I have a problem with. There's no such thing as Jew blood. The Semites are Arabs. It's the same fucking background. And Ashkenazi simply means Khazarian, which is Eastern European mixed with Turkish and Italian. The reason they track it through the mothers, because there was so much like rape and affairs and shit. There is no bloodlines. It's all a fucking LARP. It's about your soul, your behavior, your family, your nation, your friends, your farming, your soil. Like, the people that focus on bloodlines are trying to excuse their behavior, and most of them are short. It's kind of like the cuck Christians that always attack Muslims because they're like, well, at least Muhammad was a pedophile, unlike me and my priest, who's a homo. It's all the justification. It's all LARP. And Nick Fuentes is serving the Zionists like a charm. That's why he's validated on fucking Twitter. The real grabblers want you to hate Jews for their blood. Nothing will give them more power. When I heard like behind the scenes shit about what Fuentes was saying about me and my bloodline, I felt genuine like threat. Where it's like, so my children, are they also evil, Nick? And then I started thinking like, I might have to really fuck this guy up. If he starts talking about ethnic guilt and all that shit, that's now like Papa Bear with my children, like that's now a thing. So now it's like, no, I have to fucking take this little milk machine down. If I'm a Jew, does that make me a bad person? No. If you're a bad person, you're a bad person. The Zionists said that anti-Semitism was the best thing that could possibly happen. But the real shit, like what Fuentes is doing, not my fun version. Mocking Jews is a great way to help young people not watch porn and take high interest loans. And it also can relieve the stress that can lead to violence. Actually condemning a bloodline that will condemn your whole country. Like if that shit starts happening in America, I'll fight it. And then if it just keeps rising, I'm fucking out of here, dude. I'll go to the Philippines with Duterte. If people start actually condemning Jewish bloodlines, that's not what the fuck I'm mocking. That's not what I'm about at all, dude. That's insane. Real anti-Semitism comes from wanting to be the Jews. And that's what Fuentes is. He'd love to be one of these little banker grabblers with all the power, because then he can get away with his sexual appetites. He's sick. You turned me on to Nick. I know I was wrong. I'm here to tell you I was wrong. I was thirsty. There's a reason that I get these insights. It's not because I'm above it. I was thirsty for a young person to be funny. And I found them with Anchor Bear and Mountain Bear and all these people. But like, I wanted to see someone like Nick Fuentes, like the fact that he was doing comedy. He was like saying things that were funny and not just serving the master. I wanted to promote him and I wanted to help him and I wanted to like really get him going. And then I saw what he was and it was like crazy. Christians just are so sick of being mocked by the mainstream that anybody that says Jesus is king, they're like, yes, he's crushing. And then as soon as I'm like, he's selling socks with crucifixes on them and it's promoted by Geffen, and everyone's like, no, you, sir, you're the bad guy. It's like, Okay. Yeah, one of the only reasons I was even trying to see anything good in Fuentes last week was because Captain Mike Maloney, who ran my Clips channel, who made all the money, I got zero. I did it to try and help that dumb fuck. Was like, can you please just try and make up with Fuentes, Nichols? I run Nichols Fuentes' Clip channel, and I don't want to see you fight. He's a good guy and all this. So I was like, fine, I'll get excited about his Charlie Kirk situation. I'll try. And then Fuentes attacked my wife. So it's like, and now Mike Maloney shut down my whole Clips channel. He was doing live streams of my streams for Super Chats. I didn't even tell him to stop. I'm like, whatever, man. If you need money, go for it. I never took a fucking nickel from that dude. And then he posted some shit about how, like, what I've said about Fuentes. There's a reason I've been on a bit of a fucking rant about this. What I said about Fuentes' mother, I can't even repeat. It was so dark. This is a guy that was making videos of clickbait of being like, Owen Benjamin attacks chiropractors for clicks. He was exploiting mine and Rogan's drama 2 years ago. And now he's still using my Clips channel, except he took down all my videos. It was 7 million views. He took them all down out of spite because he's a little gamma. He did that public condemnation about me being like, what he said about Nichols Fuentes and his Milk Nation is unacceptable. And then he was like, but I want the Bears to still support me in my music. Ugh. So yeah, support the fucking Bears that aren't little assholes. Baloney Maloney. Oh, I know. That's weird. Mike Maloney burned his widest bridge. Yeah, because he's a click machine. And right now, Nichols Fuentes has a big spike because of the Charlie Kirk thing. Guess what? Nichols Fuentes and Milker Nation shit their pants against Crowder. Crowder won that Q&A. Conservative Inc. now knows how to handle old fucking ankle-biting McMilkface. So if your motivation is clicks, like Papa J. Bear keeps getting demonetized, and he just keeps making them because he's a champion. Anchor Bear, Stationary Wilburys, all these guys, Mountain Bear, everybody's just doing it out of love, and it's because it's fun. Mike Maloney made tens of thousands of dollars off me. I was like, let's expand the community. That's fine. How much did I take? Zip. Because it's not about money for me and I didn't want to be a grabbler. But it's like, he had to do a public condemnation because I called like Nick Fuentes' mom like a bitch or something. It's like, dude, you've exploited me for 2 years. Owen Benjamin attacks chiropractors. And then, of course, I didn't. I've never attacked chiropractors. I mean, it's definitely a fuzzy profession, but whatever. It's like, yeah, I hope you fucking milk 1,000 years. So, yeah, I had to address the situation because he takes down all the videos, all of them. The only reason I even tried to look at fucking Milkface 5 Cent Fuentes in a positive light was because of Baloney Maloney. Because he asked me to, and he was just live streaming my streams for Super Chats. And he was like, I put in a lot of work. I'm the one who draws thousands of people a day, and I'm not monetized. I make zero money on this. You want to help out the channel, send it to my P.O. box. The fact I don't do this for money or fame is why I crush so hard. And they'll never see that until it's too late. It's like, Nichols Fuentes' live stream hit 7,000. I used to be on a sitcom that would get 3 million a night. It doesn't do anything. The devil's favorite word is more. Learn it. Learn it now, or else you become like 5 Cent Fuentes in the Milker Nation. Just unsub from Captain Mike. Yeah, and I never would have even made this public if he didn't. And I'm like, yeah, it's easier to fit a rich man or a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man in the kingdom of God. And people are like, yeah, but you have wealth, Big Bear. You have money. I make 1/1000th of my skill set. I have the most valuable skill right now in the world, according to the Beast, not in reality. It's much more valuable to know how to plant crops and plumb and carpentry and all that stuff. According to the Beast system, I have one of the most valuable skills in the world. I entertain people. I can get eyeballs. I can get 12,000 people in a stadium to sing along and do what I tell them to do. The fact I choose not to poison minds with that is why I'm not paid anything. I'm not even allowed to make money on YouTube. I'm not allowed on PayPal. I used to make $30,000 a week on TBS. Colleges would pay me $12,000 to $15,000 to talk for 1 hour. I now have a P.O. box. Does it appear like I'm not crushing? No, I am happier. I have more purpose. I'm healthier. I wake up with I can't believe the life I have. I'm way more grateful. But according to what I would be paid if I served the beast, I'm making $1 for every $1,000 roughly. No, you're a has-been. I'm a has-been in the beast, and it was by choice. It's like, yeah, I do have a nice house. I do have property. I do have goats. I do have wealth. I do have a healthy family. I do have a truck. I do have a fucking four-wheeler. Yes. If I used my skills to poison minds, I would have a palace. And that's not even debatable. It's a fact. The fact I don't poison minds is the only reason that I'm out of the beast. But I have that quality. I have the musical, vocal ability of making people just go, and they just watch me. They have my whole life. And it's a skill. And it's not very valuable in the real world, but it's very valuable to the beast system. Very, very, very valuable. Because if they can entertain the government, they can have slaves. And I'm not going to push this bullshit. Wait till you see this. And by the way, anybody that wants to start Clips channels, you have my blessing. You don't have to pay me shit, and you can get millions of views because a lot of people don't want to sit through 3 hours of fucking Big Bear. A lot of people like those 10, 15-minute Captain Baloney Maloney clips. And there's now openings. Go for it. All right, much love, everybody. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity and blow a guy. And do not live in despair. Do not be afraid. I love you people.